Well, thanks for joining, everybody. Meghan and I have gone through the release notes and through the mobile app documentation, and we've pulled out all of the new features in the Orlando release. And so we're going to take a few minutes and share those with you. There's not a whole lot of them, so we don't plan on this being a very long presentation. But first, Meghan will go through her slides, then I'll go through mine.
All right, so dashboards for mobile are new. Previously, there were no dashboards. You can now look at performance analytics widgets, reports. Before, you could link to the backend to look at reports. There's also now mobile device management configuration for authentication pages or browsers. So you set it up with an EMM suite, an Enterprise Mobility Management Suite. So you can define default browsers to open up a mobile application authentication page. There's now a mobile photo search. It gives the users the ability to perform image-based searches using the objects around you. So if you had a laptop in front of you or you had something in front of you that you didn't know what it was called, you can take a picture and it will search through your mobile app or what you have configured for that, like based on categories or, you know, whatever you think it is, like technology, a laptop, you know.
Yeah, this is really cool for field services because you'll have technicians out in the field who need to like checklist parts and they can take a picture of a part or something and look up which part that is. So this is really significant there.
There are also now mobile analytics. You can monitor key performance indicators for users who access their instance through mobile applications. You can see what they're using their mobile app for, how long they're there. That's pretty cool. That wasn't there before, and it's activated by default in the Now platform. You can now navigate to an Applet Launcher through any part of the mobile application. Before, there was only the very first page. You'd be able to click into your incidents stuff only on the front page, and then you'd have to go back, and then you could click into like your requests or your work orders. But now at the bottom, they have a navigation bar, so you can choose your incidents, your approvals. If you had for FSM work orders, you can go into like my work and stuff like that now as well.
Yeah, and you were only able to access those pages by clicking on those links along the bottom. So now what you can do is you can link to, you know, like here, what we're looking at right now is the Incidents Applet Launcher. You can actually link to this page, not just from the navigation bar, but from anywhere within the mobile app. Couldn't do that before. So this one is, you can now create a contextual link to virtual agent. So what's new about it is previously only the table and SysID of a record were passed over to the virtual agent when a user engaged with the chat that way. Now, so the use case here is the user, say, on an incident record and they engage with virtual agent chat. You can now send any fields from that record over in the as parameters as the chat session. And you can also link to specific virtual agent topics more easily and just overall provide more finely tuned support. So that's all in the mobile actions. If you've done mobile app configuration before, you'll know what those are. So there's UI parameters there. Configure an embedded list for a form applet. So this is cool because embedded lists on a form was not supported before, and now they are. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. How do you do it? You just create a relationship data item and configure it appropriately. So there's the documentation is pretty clear on that. It's pretty nice. And this one, another very self-explanatory one. Previously, empty form sections would still take up space in a form, and now it doesn't. So you have much cleaner forms now. And you just use the hide when empty checkbox on your UI sections when you configure your applet launchers. All right, mobile application management integration. This is for enforcing mobile policies on your mobile devices. Previously, there was no native integrations available. You had to add these through custom integrations, which was quite difficult. Now you have versions of each of the mobile apps for both BlackBerry Dynamics and Microsoft Intune. So you just you download the appropriate app from the App Store and configure your mobile policy options. Okay, mobile branding. this is obviously cool because now you can make the mobile app reflect the colors of your organization. And you're really just able to modify things like the headers, links, buttons, icons, your typical theme elements. And previously you couldn't, so now you can. So that's really cool. Okay, and this one is really cool, especially for, again, your field service agents or people who are out, doing work remotely, because you can now configure a single input to take multiple scans, which previously, think of just, a field that would take multiple inputs, like a list collector or something like that. You couldn't really populate that very well with a mobile device and your scans, or a scan device, unless you did some pretty custom stuff. Now you can quite easily configure a field to take multiple scans. So that's really cool and pretty easy to configure as well. All right, so that's all of the new features for mobile apps. This last slide is just to summarize all of the apps that are supported through the mobile app. Approvals for catalog requests, request items, changes, and then I'm not going to read through all of these. You can read these. This is just a little reference for you. Stuff is all native now in the mobile apps. And just to reiterate, there are 3 different mobile apps. One's the agent app, right? Those are for all your agents and fulfillers. Then you've got onboarding, which you can use with new hires. And then there's your Now app, which is your standard self-service stuff. Okay, that's all.